fiscally responsible, financial geniuses, monetary magicians. These are things people say about drivers who switch their car insurance to Progressive and save hundreds. Because Progressive offers discounts for paying in full, owning a home, and more. Plus, you can count on their great customer service to help when you need it, so your dollar goes a long way. Visit Progressive.com to see if you could save on car insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states or situations.
The Lincoln Spring Sales event is on now, and there's never been a better time to experience the feeling of driving a Lincoln. Pictures, sunlight through the available panoramic vista roof, music, weather, and maps on the 48-inch panoramic display, and a drive so smooth that inspiration rides up front. Stepping out better than you got in. That's the Lincoln feeling. Get behind the wheel of the 2026 Lincoln Nautilus SUV and discover exceptional offers only at your local Lincoln retailer.
What actually happens when you go on tour as a working musician? Not the Instagram version, the real version.
And what happens when the platform you built your audience on starts pushing racist newsletters? Substack says it supports writers, but who exactly is it supporting?
The creative economy is broken, but some people are still making it work. We're here to find out how. I'm Anna Marie Cox.
And I'm Open Mike Eagle. And this is Past Due.
Mike, welcome back.
My God.
I am so genuinely happy to see you.
I'm happy to see you too.
Happy to tell you congratulations, like in person-ish, on how well that album is being received. Neighborhood Gods Unlimited. Like,
it sounds nice when you say it. It sounds
great
like it.
Reviews everywhere that I've seen.
I only show the great ones.
I haven't really searched down anything. That's true. Like I've just enjoyed seeing like on your Instagram feed like all the wonderful reviews you've gotten. Sold out Chicago on your tour.
We did sell out Chicago. We did.
So I want to talk about your tour.
I want to talk about it too, but I heard your there's some news about one of your favorite websites. I hear that there's an update, and I can't wait to hear it from you.
So, longtime listeners may be aware that I have a particular I don't call it a grudge. Like, I have this very strong feeling based in analysis that Substack is bad for journalism and bad for America, both. And I wrote this big piece that was in my newsletter. I'm kind of anti-newsletter, but whatever. Like, it's a good way to communicate with people, and I get to put stuff there that I don't put anywhere else. So, I did a piece about how Substack's VC funding is way out of whack with the actual amount of money they're making, and they're actually putting themselves out there as a tech platform, right? And in order to make that kind of money, what they've had to do is really greatly expand the kinds of newsletters that they publish, right?
Right.
Like go beyond what they used to be kind of known for is like home for journalists that don't elsewhere have a home, right? Or like want independence. And then some of their best performing newsletters are by Nazis and TERFs and Nazi adjacent folks. Their number one newsletter is actually Barry Weiss's The Free Press, which is kind of an intellectual dark web, like, regressive and reactionary laundering project. Okay, so that's kind of the setup. They refuse to get rid of the Nazis because they say they want to be, entirely opinion agnostic.
I have a question.
Okay.
Do they get
I'm
rid
getting
of
to my big point. I guess I should have started with the big point.
But I do have a question.
Okay.
Do they get rid of anybody?
I don't know. Because the people they have left are pretty loathsome. Like one guy actually got cited in the New York Times recently for some Mondami research that he did. That was the stuff you probably may have seen about how he checked he was African American in his Columbia application. Like that was found in a hacking, incursion and publicized in this guy's newsletter who is a legit like head measuring
Oh,
eugenicist.
wow. That's fun.
Like,
Eugenics is having a moment right now.
yeah. So like Substack is kind of laundering these opinions again. Like they make it seem normal, some of this stuff. One of the other big performing newsletters is Matt Taibbi, who has become kind of a crank, like someone I actually knew pretty well for a while and was a really good journalist around class issues, especially. But he's become kind of a quasi-Trumper, as many of the apostate leftist the people who say the left them.
Hmm.
So anyway, they have already kind of a turfy Nazi problem. And then again, there's a systemic issue here, but I'll get to the main thing. What happened last night is that they did a push notification in their app for a Nazi newsletter, like straight up Nazi newsletter. I don't think everyone got it, but this is two problems, structural problems here. One is that the app is the place they're trying to keep everyone because that makes them more like a tech company, right?
The platform.
And so it's a platform. And so they want people to stay in the app. They had kind of a Twitter-esque thing called Notes that they are doing that's trying to get people to do short content. You can follow newsletters in the app. You don't have to subscribe. You just get alerted that they have new content. And the thing about that is that means that the people who are the newsletter proprietors don't get that info.
Mm.
You understand that problem immediately, right?
No, actually, break it down a little bit for me.
Taylor Lorenz talked about this when we talked to her.
Okay.
So in the app, if you follow someone, you just click, right? You're just like, I want to follow, like when I was on there, you're like, I want to follow Anna Marie Cox. I want to be alerted to her content. I won't get that person's email.
Right. Substack does, and they keep that.
Yes. And so if I want to leave Substack, let's say, I'm not going to be able to take that person with me, even if they're a free subscriber. I mean, if they're, in fact, that's actually the whole thing is people who follow don't necessarily become paid subscribers.
But if they do become paid, do you get their info at that point?
Yes.
Okay.
But that, people rely on that conversion rate.
Sure. Yeah. 100%.
So part of it is that they have an app and all. And the other part of it is that the reason why that Substack, why they pushed out a Nazi newsletter is for engagement. Like they did it with an algorithm.
And so you said they sent out a push notification. So everyone with the app got this notification?
No, apparently it was like people with like probably politics or like some, like Substack hasn't commented on this as far as I know. Taylor Lorenz broke the story. Friend of the pod, Taylor Lorenz, broke this story. And the last reporting that she had is that that Substack hasn't even responded for comment. And she pointed out in her coverage that this was clearly an engagement grab because radical content gets engagement.
Can you, I mean, I'm assuming you've seen this.
I saw a screenshot of
piece.
it.
What, can you describe it at all?
Yeah. So I'm going to share it. Okay. I'm going to share it in our chat.
I'm actually got to click again. Now I'm on Taylor's. The Substack app apparently push alert promoted a Nazi newsletter to several users. This is on Taylor Lorenz's account. Users have complained about it on Substack notes, but the company hasn't responded. Generally, push alert promos are for content a user is likely to interact with. Whoa, there's a big old swastika. There is a big old
Not
swastika.
subtle.
I mean, could you imagine just opening your phone and seeing a swastika from some computer application that you trust?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Nat Soc. I don't know how you say that.
I guess Nat
Socialist
Soch,
Party is
probably.
Nat Soch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nat Soch today is a National Socialist weekly newsletter featuring opinions and news important to the National Socialist and white nationalist community.
You asked me if they kick anyone off.
Oh my God, that's like worse than I could have imagined. It's worse than I could have imagined that you could be in a position being on this app where you could receive a swastika on the front of your phone that you never asked for. Like that is incredibly vile, irresponsible, stupid?
And it's engagement farming,
Yeah.
right?
Does that,
I mean, I know
are,
that
are we
no one,
still?
you would say no one wants that, but that people react to it.
Yeah, I just wonder, are we still, have we not seen the folly in like the all engagement is good engagement model? Like, this seems really dumb.
So Substack has revenue of 40 million a year, which is generated from their 10% of subscribers, right?
Mhm.
That sounds kind of impressive, but they've raised like 160 million in VC funds, or more than that, actually. They had a valuation. They went out for VC funds at one point saying that they were valued at like 700 million. So their delta, right, between what they're telling investors and what investors might want to return on versus what they're losing money right now. They have never made money. That's 40 million revenue without losses. That's what they publicize as the 40 million revenue. So their only way forward is engagement
But
and being an app.
but I would, this is where my mind goes, and let me know how this strikes you. Um, some important part of making that revenue back seems to be um, the value of people having the app and the value of people subscribing to different creators on the app,
So I
right?
think sure, but so this gets us actually to the part that's really related here. I mean, this is directly related, I think, to our listeners because people probably subscribe to Substacks because they want to support independent journalists, which
Right.
and friends of the pods that I've had are on Substack, right? Like we had tons of guests on the 90 Days podcast that are on Substack, and I don't want to. Some of my best friends are on Substack, honestly, and a few of them talked about leaving when the Nazi problem first came up, but then a lot of them were like, because Substack did like the whole "we are free speech," whatever. Some people that was good enough, and some people like it's too much of a, cost, right? Like it's a sunk cost that they're in Substack, and the idea of switching. I mean, it took me a little bit of energy to switch myself.
Right.
I'm on Button Down now, which is like incredibly simple. Like they make it like my page to subscribe for money to my Substack newsletter looks like a Nigerian prince scam.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
it's like it just has like enter your credit card number here, you know. It's it's very bare bones, but I'm not trying to make a ton of money on mine, right? But I have friends who are very popular Substackers and say that they've been looking to exit, but it would be like it would be so hard for them to move like 10,000 subscribers, they think. Okay? If Substack gets really desperate, do you imagine how much harder they're going to make it to move?
Well, I am thinking about it more
Like
from
that's my message to listeners is like don't start there because I think that you're going to be handcuffed and trapped.
yeah, because I'm thinking about it more from the consumer side than the creator side.
Right.
Like, because there to me seems to be a very present danger in a post like that, making people unsubscribe from whatever, delete the app. Like, that's just not the sort of thing that a lot of people want to be exposed to.
Also a danger for people that are trapped on Substack. That's what I'm saying is like get out now.
Right.
Like,
But I'm wondering, like, I'm the
they're
logic of it
doomed.
is what
I
I'm
think that they don't
questioning.
it doesn't make any sense. They're going to have to like I don't know what they're going to say, right? But my point is they're going to keep doing stuff. This is always going to be a danger as long as they're relying on engagement. So if you're a consumer, I mean, make a choice. I mean, like I don't want to tell you to unsubscribe from anybody, right?
I'm just saying people are going to like
Yeah.
that's the sort of thing that's going to make people do that. Like
Yeah.
if I was on an app and it sent me a notification that had a Ku Klux Klan white sheet on it, then
Yeah.
I'm getting rid of it like without question, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like that if they're gambling like that, they just stand to lose so much.
They're not. So I guess they're sort of gambling because they're going all in on engagement, right? So the thing is like it's lose-lose for everyone. Because if they stop doing engagement farming, they're not going to be able to get the numbers they need to get to satisfy investors, right? And what I think also is an eventual outcome. Elon already showed interest in buying it a couple of years ago, right? Mark Andreessen is one of the investors. He's like an intellectual dark web VC guy. one of the other recent investors was the guy that bankrolled Tucker Carlson leaving Fox and starting his own company. So these are the people who are interested in Substack.
And honestly, a move like this makes more sense as a way to appeal to those people to buy the platform than to satisfy numbers, you know?
And so I guess, again, I'm sort of trying to bring it back to our audience because I think this is incredibly relevant, if you have any, don't start at Substack if you're a writer or anyone. There are plenty of other options there, Beehive, Ghost, and there's another one I'm not thinking of. And if you're a consumer, I would urge if you're a huge fan, tell the people, I don't want to tell them unsubscribe. I know those $3 a month really matter to everyone, right? But for the collective good, we need to move people off of that platform, because this is also the trap. What they want to be is the YouTube of newsletters.
Right.
Because YouTube, well, everyone knows. YouTube, anyone producing content for YouTube is trapped on YouTube. There's just no other platform. Right. And Substack is following the same model of trying to get free content. They don't put in, they stopped. They actually at one point, in fact, offered me one of the sweetheart deals. It was a 6-figure deal to leave where I was and produce content solely for Substack. And that was a lot of their initial upfront costs were offering writers huge sums to come in and then, like a book advance, earn out. Advance.
They had a big impact in the comic book world.
Yeah.
When they were doing that, because they offered great deals to a lot of very prominent creators that went over there and made stuff that nobody read.
Comic books seem like a bad place to do. Newsletters seem like a bad place to do.
I think that bore out. I think your instincts on that are dead on.
Yeah. And I kind of wish I'd taken it. But the thing is, I had 2 really good gigs that I was really happy with. I was at MTV. I was working for Crooked. I don't know. I'm kind of coming around. I'm just not a newsletter person.
Coming around? You've been not a newsletter person the entire time I've known you.
No. And this is, again, I think helpful for both creators and listeners to think about, creators and consumers to think about, which is that this is the ideology of the newsletter boom that I think about a lot, which is it is atomizing and it puts the pressure on a single creator.
I don't know what that word means, atomizing.
Separating into individual silos.
I see.
Our culture is very atomized right now.
Right. And will only become more so.
Well, I hope we're doing our part to make a difference in that. One of the reasons I started the show.
Well, I'm just saying we're moving further and further away from a monoculture as more and more information sources become.
No, not monoculture. What I envision is a collective sense of humanity.
Right.
And a collective sense of interdependence. The culture part is actually a whole different problem. And I actually think atomization leads to siloing, right? But not monoculture. It leads to people being in their media silos.
Right. I'm saying it goes in the opposite direction of monoculture to have people siloed. Yeah.
Right. I guess what I was saying, monoculture seems bad to me. And what I want is a very fertile culture that's not siloed. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I want a culture, which I do think America has had, right? And rap music is a great example of a cross-pollinated genre that could not exist except for lots of different influences coming together.
Right. It's the result of a bunch of different social and historical factors. Yeah, 100%.
I think most of the great music,
all American music. Yeah.
Right. Rock, all of the stuff that we love, comes because people have listened to things outside of their silos, right?
Mm-hmm. This episode is brought to you by Factor.
Cold days, big goals, absolutely zero interest in cooking? Factor makes healthy eating easy with fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs.
No planning, no grocery math, no what did I buy this ingredient for?
I love that Factor has quality, functional ingredients, including lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole food ingredients, and healthy fats.
And there's so much variety. Over 100 rotating meals every week, including the new Muscle Pro meals, if you're doing strength stuff.
And they support your diet, whether it's high protein meals, Mediterranean, whole ingredients, healthy fats, or more. Plus, there are no refined sugars or artificial sweeteners.
I've looked for something like this for a long time, and Factor really is the best.
It's good food that tastes great and is ready in about 2 minutes, always fresh, never frozen, no prep, and no stress. Head to factormeals.com/pastdue50off. That's 50 off. And use code PASTDUE50OFF to get 50% off and free breakfast for a year.
Eat like a pro this month with Factor. New subscribers only, varies by plan. One free breakfast item per box for 1 year while subscription is active.
I didn't think the pain from the shingles rash would affect simple, everyday tasks like bathing, getting dressed, or even walking around. I was wrong. Though not everyone at risk will develop it, 99% of people over the age of 50 already have the virus that causes shingles, and it could reactivate at any time. I developed it, and the blistering rash lasted for weeks. Don't learn the hard way, like I did. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today. Sponsored by GSK.
If you like what we're doing here, the best way to support Past Due is by joining our Patreon.
You'll get bonus episodes, ad-free early access, community Discord, and bonus conversations that don't make it to the main feed.
Come join us at patreon.com/pastdue.
Do you see what I did there?
Yes, I did. You brought it right back around.
Mike, so how was the tour?
We invented rap music on the tour.
All right. Well,
in our minivan, we synthesized all of the cultural factors.
Your particular style is, in fact, a cross-pollinated.
It is true.
What you do is cross-pollinated.
I'm learning that more and more.
You represent a melding of styles that, apparently a lot of people love.
A lot of people are into it. Like I said, I don't publicize people who aren't into it, but
okay. No, you keep on doing that, right?
I know.
You keep on pushing back on the a lot of people love it, and why?
Well, because my nervous system is experiencing the full spectrum every day.
Okay, yes.
Yes. I want to make room for that, even as I don't point towards those folks.
Just want to make sure you're taking in.
I have been so overwhelmed by positive reception for this latest project that I have put out. I cannot even tell you, especially in correlation to how nervous I was right before it came out, and all of the terrible creative thoughts you have about, nobody's going to like this at all. So you lower the bar really low. And I've had different types of experiences with releases where some hit harder than others. And I can say for this one, it has certainly overperformed my practical expectations, not even my dark pre-release expectations, but my practical ones, because I think I was trying to do something difficult in terms of making a rap album that had elements of like really elements of like TV and film that I like. In terms of
sorry.
Go ahead.
I feel like there's more spokenness to it.
It's certainly there's a lot of conversational songs to it, which is sort of my style anyway.
I think so. Which one of the reasons I like it? I think that your style is particularly engaging.
Right. I certainly like people to lean in and check out what I'm saying and sort of be in conversation with the music and in conversation with the themes that I'm presenting. And I think the more unique thing from my perspective with this project is that I'm attempting to tell a story with a rap album that is not a straight ahead ABC linear sort of thing. And I've been so happy with not only people engaging with it, but the interpretations that they're making and the themes that they're picking up. And, like that stuff, that's what I was hoping would happen. And that has happened um, above and beyond um, what I expected.
Tell me, it's such a gift when that happens, right?
Mhm.
Like I've experienced that with writing. When in writing, we call it show, don't tell, right?
Right.
And it is nerve-wracking sometimes to be like, are you picking up what I'm putting out? I
Yeah.
guess.
100%. 100%.
So tell me about that. I want to talk about the practicalities of touring, but also
Sure. We'll get to that. I won't spend too
Okay.
much time on this, but what you just described, show, don't tell. Those are exactly the elements that I wanted to infuse this project with. And because in the media that I like, the TV, the film, the books that I like, that's what happens. And I think that sometimes what you deal with as a hip hop creator is folks very specific and what sometimes feel like lowered expectations for what a rap album can do or is allowed to do, or how people will engage with it. Um, but I was very intentional about that. Like this album tells a story. Um, the story has a lot of because
non-linear.
right, because there's a story in the project, and it's a story about trauma and the sorts of questions that the songs are asking. The answers are absurd sometimes, and in that, I didn't want to explain this is the answer. I just wanted to present um, a lot of imagery, um, and I just wanted to add a lot of atmospheric implications to things rather than just saying this is what this is about,
Mm.
and yeah, I've been so pleased by the threads people have picked up, some of them that are there and some of them that are not.
And I will say as a writer, again, like when people pick up stuff that you didn't mean to put there, but also the other kind of the biggest gift I feel like I get is when someone picks something up that I didn't mean to put there, but that totally
Works.
fits.
Yep.
Give me an example, and then I do want to talk about touring.
Oh, I don't know if I have a specific example from this project but I have seen that like over in my Discord, there's an entire thread of folks just theorizing about it. And I haven't even gone through it all yet. Um, but some of the things I've seen are like, oh, I didn't necessarily plan that, but this calls back to this song on this other album. And I may not have intended that thread to connect, but gosh, it really does. And it does because the thing that lies underneath is like my true experience. And so sometimes that gets refracted into all sorts of things that I'm not necessarily conscious of.
And when you perform live, this is where my experience completely disconnects from your right. Like I
Mm.
can't like at all imagine
We need to open up these venues for you to read your Substack piece on a stage, you know.
Well, I have done readings and I have performed in like other kinds of.
I know you're sober, but gosh, it would be nice for you to be able to do this in a nightclub with people
Oh, I'm
drinking
happy to do it at a nightclub.
and
I mean,
hooting and hollering at the big lines.
I can go anywhere. I mean, there might like sometimes in AA we talk about like there are times when you got to be like check it out. Like, do I want to be around drinking
Right.
tonight?
100%.
99% of the time it's totally fine. Now being around drunk people is different. That can be mostly annoying.
I bet. I believe you.
But drinking, it's more like I sometimes feel like I'm like an alien on Earth sometimes because I'm like, did you really just leave like a quarter of your drink on the table? Like you just did you really just have one? Oh my God, you had one?
The self-control, the restraint is just baffling.
Like, Yeah, and then it's like, "Oh, no," or when people are like, "Yeah, I don't feel like drinking tonight." "What?"
You have the choice and you choose not
Yeah.
to.
So anyway, um, so I was switching gracefully to touring, but the
Mhm.
act of performing such personal, like, I've seen you live a long time ago, and I saw you perform some really personal stuff, and it is a vulnerability that I don't know if I associate personally. I'm not a huge rap connoisseur
Mhm.
because didn't grow up in that culture.
I love you like pointing at yourself.
I'm pointing myself at, "Look at me." If
Oh,
Mike and
theater of
I
the
were ever
mind,
on
folks. Theater
TV
of the mind.
together, like,
Yeah.
the white balance would be instead of holding up a piece of paper, like, I just look at the camera
That is
and
so funny.
Um, but, I've seen you perform, and the vulnerability that you have with some, not every song, right? Like,
Mhm.
there's bangers, and then there's other ones
More
that are
personal
more
stuff, yeah.
personal. I don't want people to get the idea that you're up there, like, muttering into the mic, like like doing emo constantly. Like, there's a lot of energy. Um, but I'm more curious, I have to say, about when those lulls, not lulls, that's not the right word.
I
You
think
help
I
me, help
understand
me.
what you mean. There's like you said, there's bangers, more there's, songs where people are meant to engage with the music more and less
Yeah.
what I'm saying. And then there's songs where it's all about what I'm saying and all about making sure that, the music is mixed in such a way where, everything that I'm saying is delivered directly to people. And like I said, some of these conversations that the music is attempting to have are challenging. And um, one of the interesting developments on the tour that I was just on and then still currently on because I leave again in a couple of weeks, has been how to contextualize those songs and present them on stage. Because when you put out a new project and you do the tour, you're starting to do a whole bunch of new work. And in this particular case, the first show in LA, I actually wrote out this entire like not quite a script, but I wrote all these notes down and like how I was going to present every song. Um, and then by show 2, I did half of that talking. And then by like show 4, damn near none of it. There's just like a couple of little contextual things that I say that are funny. But what I ended up leaning into more and more as the tour went on and got comfortable performing the songs was to largely let the songs speak for themselves. Um, because the way that they need to be explained, if I'm of a mind to explain them, is far more time than what we have in trying to keep the energy of a show going. Um, so I just leaned into performing them more and letting the emotions that I infused the performance with tell some of the story of the context rather than trying to lay it all out because I quickly realized that was not working.
So I don't know if you have, like, a play Freebird kind of song? Like,
Yeah, I do, and I usually
okay.
and I usually don't do it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a couple of those, and I usually don't do them.
Well, because I do wanna get into some of the practicalities
Mhm,
here, and I think there are a few that I'm interested in. Pick one. One is the practicality of the emotional energy,
mhm.
right? Because to me, being vulnerable takes more energy than going out and, like, doing a banger, right? And then I think that the riskiness of doing new material in general and new material especially that's, like, not necessarily gonna be, like, grab people by the lapels
Mhm.
kinds of songs. Although the quieter songs can do that as well, right? Does that feel, like, financially risky to you when you're at a club and, like, you're like, "I got it. I'm my artistic calling."
This is the funny thing about that part, the
Okay.
financial part,
Alright.
is that largely, once I have taken the stage, the financial part's all done already.
That's true.
Like, people have either engaged with the music or they haven't, they've bought a ticket or they haven't, like, those are the things that really affect my bottom line. I mean, I can hit a home run and make people buy 2 albums when they weren't going to buy any, like
Right.
in terms of merch. But typically, I think people um, have in mind what they're going to spend when they get there, and what I do largely doesn't change that, at least in my experience. Um, so financially, it doesn't seem risky, but I will say that the beginning of this tour was one of the most stressful moments I've had. Um, One of the most anxiety filled spaces I've been in because of those questions, because this work is more unwieldy. It is more personal. It is more conversational. Um, and I didn't quite know, even though I'd rehearsed, I didn't quite know how it was all going to feel. Um, Mixed in with older songs, or the best way to present it. Do I just do all the new stuff in a big chunk in the middle, or do I disperse it? Like, all of those questions needed to be answered. And, there was no way I was going to get those answers before I took the stage and made choices. Um, so yeah, that was a lot, and it's still a lot. I'm still figuring some of these things out. But um, one of the more interesting things I found is that the more quieter songs I found to be more effective, but it's because I'm putting more emotion in them on stage.
Mm.
Like, that's the power of them, is that the feeling of whatever impulse, whatever feeling I was dealing with when I wrote it, if I embody that on stage when I deliver it, it's just as good as having a banger.
God, that sounds exhausting to me.
Oh yeah.
Instagram teen accounts have automatic protections for what teens see and who can contact them, plus time management tools. And Instagram will continue adding built-in safety features to help create age-appropriate experiences. Learn more about teen accounts and Instagram's ongoing work to protect teens online at instagram.com/teen accounts.
Baseball is back, and the first pitch is on Netflix. The New York Yankees, led by 7-time All-Star Aaron Judge, head to the San Francisco Bay to take on Rafael Devers' San Francisco Giants. This season kicks off with one exclusive opening night game. Watch MLB Opening Night, the New York Yankees versus the San Francisco Giants, live on Netflix. Tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
Talk me through like typical kinds of tour. Like, okay. You get up, you could start in LA if you want, but like, what is the experience of being on tour like, especially performing the kind of performance that you're doing?
Okay. Well, see, look, I've had a couple of different types of experiences within this year, right?
Okay.
Because I was on tour.
Oh, you did supporting tour.
Right. So when I was on tour with Future Islands, they tour in the best way ever, which is on a tour bus. That is the best way to tour ever. It's
a
like
nice tour bus.
It's great.
Okay.
And it's like time traveling, like you go to bed at 2 a.m. in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and you wake up in Poughkeepsie, New York at the venue. It's 10 a.m. And when you're me, like, they don't even need me on stage to sound check till like 5.
Right.
So I have an entire day to walk around this cute little neighborhood that the venue's in, hopefully drink all the coffee, go to all the thrift stores, and take pictures of everything weird that I see all around town and put it on my Instagram. And then I open the show at 8 o'clock in front of 2,500 people.
Yeah, it's Future Islands. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe 50 of them know who I am, know, but they've entrusted me with entertaining these people. Typically, this goes very well for me. I don't make a lot of money on the front end of that, but I do well in merch. And we sort of repeat the process every day as the psychological push and pull of that is that, like, you have to balance your ego as a performer with your position in this outfit, which is support, so you're always trying to manage how much space you take up. psychologically, physically, all of that. And also in a situation like that, you're getting to know everybody in the band, you're getting to know everybody in the road crew.
Right.
It's a long process, but that was fantastic.
I was gonna say that sounds fun.
It was great.
That sounds really fun. I
Mhm.
mean, especially if you can kind of keep the ego part.
Mhm.
You don't have to keep it in check. You just have to keep it real.
And you have to be aware. You have
Yeah.
to be aware.
Yeah. But it's not like, oh, I'm just a servant to this. It's like they chose me. Like
100%.
I get to do this. This audience, I get to perform for an audience that doesn't necessarily know who I am. And
Right.
if you have to have faith in your material,
You do. You have to have confidence. You have to, they're giving you the ball to run with it, and you gotta hit a touchdown. And
yeah, I was
score
going
a
to try to think
slam
of a
dunk.
football metaphor too, but like they're the quarterback. I don't know,
Something like that.
I love football, but there's not a one that I can like.
Yeah, this is weird because they're the quarterback and they give me the ball and I run for a while and I turn around and give it back to them.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It's a
doesn't-
flea flicker situation. I don't
there
know.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go. But that's the best way to tour.
Right.
I am currently on a headline tour. For
Okay,
me.
now it's like, okay, now we're gonna get to the other way.
Yes. So those are big venues, big theaters, big, warehouses that we were playing with them. I play clubs.
Yeah.
Usually 300 to 500 cap rooms is like a sweet spot for me. And honestly, it's been trending a little lower than that. So right now, like, a 250 cap room is really sick. That's great. Like that's usually I can perform pretty adequately in those. And again, we talk about Future Islands, we talk about all these band members, all this road crew. They have a couple of different tour managers, right? When
That was
I'm
me raising my eyebrows. Everybody, they got catered food. Probably.
well,
That to me, craft service is like
not quite. Like, they have a budget for feeding the band, but it's not like it's not craft services. It's like, tour manager sends out a menu of whatever local
all
bagel
right.
place.
Still, you don't have to worry about your own food, which is like a huge decision fatigue thing
Sure.
for me.
Yeah, like they certainly make that convenient.
Yeah. Right.
So when I'm touring,
right.
when I'm the headliner, I am the headliner. I am the tour manager. I tend to be the driver, but that's only because I'm an animal like that.
Okay.
Like I need to be in control like that.
Okay.
And I'm also like, my father for quite a few of the early years of my life was like basically a traveling salesman. So I grew up on the road. Like summers I'd spend with him, I'd just be on the road. We'd just be driving the interstate. And so like that's just in me. Like I can just drive all day.
All right.
Which is a good skill to have when you're trying to save money because you're in the
Mhm.
position I'm in. So we wake up.
Who's the we?
Me, and in this case, I have two support acts. I had two support acts. One was a rapper named Reese Langston. The other, his name is Cavalier. We wake up. I may have to assemble. Maybe everyone's not staying in the same place. We assemble them, and we hit the road. 9
In
a.m.
a rented van?
In a-
Sorry, interrupting, but I'm just trying to like get,
great. Yes,
like,
paint the picture. In a minivan, typically a Chrysler Pacifica. That's
Okay.
usually where what Enterprise is offering these days is the good old Chrysler Pacifica. We've loaded all of our luggage, equipment, and merch into
Okay.
this minivan, so it's quite full. And we're driving all day long. We're hoping that the weather's going to be decent. It is never always decent. You typically have to engage with some sort of torrential rains, and if it's in the winter, it can be all sorts of different nonsense you deal with. You try to build in a little extra time for stops that you're going to make on tour. We're hitting the TA, the Flying J, the Loves. These are the big.
Oh, okay. I was
These are
like,
the big truck stop
oh yeah,
chains.
yeah. Did you hit a Buc-ee's while you were in Texas?
I didn't go to Buc-ee's. I didn't go.
Okay.
I try to avoid Buc-ee's because you can spend too much time in a Buc-ee's.
That's true. It's more like a mall.
Yeah.
It's like a truck stop mall.
It's like an attraction, you know.
Yeah, it is. It's like if you want to like take a break, you
Right.
got to Buc-ee's,
Right.
but
Like if
it's
you're on a
not.
short drive, you can do the Buc-ee's thing. But
What's your
typically
number
our
one
drives are
truck
longer.
stop? What do you grab?
I like a
What do you
TA
like?
or
What
a
snacks
Love's.
do you grab?
I
So
like
you got the TA, but what do you grab?
I usually get a coffee even though I don't need one because I've probably already had 3.
Yeah.
I get some sort of nut.
Okay.
You know, I might get a bag of pistachios. I might get some cashews
There's
or
not a lot of
something.
selections usually at a truck
Oh
stop.
God,
It's like
there's so many.
peanuts.
There's aisles and aisles and aisles of
Well, I meant of
nonsense that you can eat.
nuts.
Okay, well, but then you got you get the cashews. You can get like dill cashews. You can get
Oh
like
yes,
chili
yes, yes,
cashews. Like
yes. They do
there's-
have the flavorings. Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes.
And then I tend to get something a little junky. Like I might get some Twizzlers or some M&Ms or something. I definitely don't need, but I'm going to
Right.
get that anyway. And I'll get a water. But then on these tours with these 7-8 hour drives, typically in the Western region, you got long drives. You also have to figure out sort of lunch while you're at these places. So if it's connected to a Wendy's, you're eating Wendy's. If it's connected to a McDonald's, you're eating McDonald's. It's not good.
You're doing a
not good at all.
supersize me like on accident, basically.
And then
like,
we used to
or
do it-
necessity.
We used to have this every time touring regiment thing where every time we stopped for gas, we do push-ups right there.
Oh, nice.
But we only did it twice this time.
Oh,
So, so
hey, you have a new leg coming up. You can
That's
do.
true.
Okay,
can
I'm
make it
just
happen.
suggesting. I'm just suggesting walking around a little. Like,
I
just,
mean, there's a lot of walking that happens anyway.
okay. Then I like push-ups. Push-ups are one of the most efficient exercises you can
Mhm.
do.
Raises
Right.
the heart rate, you know.
And also you get your abs. And if you do a really correct push-up with the, like kind of hollow body
Mhm.
grip, at like
Core,
tightening your
core,
abs, core,
yeah.
gripping
Core
your butt,
engaged.
you'll get some lower body there too. So I endorse, and I'm going to say, like, you have an opportunity to do something different and you'll feel better. You know
Mhm.
all this. I'm just giving you encouragement.
Yeah, I usually get like 16, 17,000 steps every tour day.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's
All right.
crazy.
Well, it is, but you need that, like, while you're driving.
100%.
Because what they say is it is like the amount of consecutive hours you're sitting. It's the
Yeah.
real
And you can
problem.
tell because it feels really shitty at the end of those drives. You feel extra
Yeah.
terrible. So
Yeah.
we,
Okay,
we,
so
we end up going straight to the venue typically because we don't have time to go to the hotel.
right.
We load in, and maybe the venue has people to help us load. Maybe they don't. Maybe the venue is up some stairs and there's no elevator. Maybe there is, So you get a lot of steps with loading in because, again, all of that equipment and merch has to be loaded in, and there's the 3 of us there to do it. We sound check, which usually takes an hour for all of us. And then I engage with, I hire a merch seller at every show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Or else that would have to be someone else I brought along and was paying and needed to house and stuff.
Right.
So I hire a person for a flat fee. They get there. I have to walk them through all of the things. And that's gotten kind of tricky lately. Because of tipping.
Ooh.
It's gotten a little tricky lately.
And like paying with the tap.
Exactly. So
Ooh.
I have a little tablet that I use with the Square app for people to pay for
Right.
records and shirts and stuff, right? And the way that it's set up, if you have the tipping turned on,
Yeah.
is that it automatically offers this option to the consumer. Do you want a tip? And then people a lot of times just do it yes. But if you talk to people, they don't know if this tip is going to the person or if it's going to the band. They
Okay.
have no idea in this situation. And I've been a part of some tours where like I was opening for a big band and they hired somebody to do the merch and that person was um felt like they were entitled to all of the tip money and that amount of money was more than what some people in the band made that
Oof.
night. And the other tricky thing is this. All of that money in the Square app goes into my bank account and I have to pay taxes on it.
Oof.
So my policy
Wait,
now is
you
that
can't write off like a bunch of this? Because I mean,
well, this is the thing. if I want to write it off, I have to have a tax form from the person that I paid, so that
Right.
amount of money gets separated. So my policy is I don't turn the tips on my digital. Like if you can, I encourage people, you're more than welcome to have some sort of physical receptacle from tips, and you can have all of that. But in terms of the digital card reader, if I'm going to turn that on, I
Yeah.
need a tax form from you. And that's enough to usually make people not want to bother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, this whole tipping thing, like, it's a problem. I don't know.
It's just there's a lot of there's a lot of confusion around it. It's not clear what people's expectations are for the consumer, for the seller, for the band. Like there's just a lot of confusion.
Oh, I think it's tip. I'm pro paying people a living wage
100%.
and no tips. Like, I would be happy to live in a no tipping world.
And that's the other thing I do too. Like if somebody's rate is 100, but they're like, oh, I was expecting tips. Okay, let's do 150. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I want you to be satisfied. I don't want you to feel taken advantage of. I
Not
just
that
don't
like
want to
you're
introduce.
personally responsible for living wage. I just mean like,
Well, in a sense I am. I'm
Yeah.
their employer for
Well,
that night, you know?
I meant like
In general?
globally.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. But you know, right now the globe is made up of a bunch of people employing each other.
Yeah. We're passing
you
the
know.
same dollar around, as
Exactly.
I like to say. That's good. I love it. I love living your values, which feels like you're doing there. You're trying to pay
100%.
somebody fairly.
Of course.
$100 for a night of work seems pretty good to me. $150 for a night of work seems pretty good to me.
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
sometimes they're like, yeah, okay, with the tips, I've made $600. Like, wait a minute, that's sort of ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yes, so then
You want to support Mike? Buy another shirt. That's
I guess. I mean, I think
I think if people are thinking that you get the money, which you do, but you don't get the money.
100%. And yeah, like all of this, and I guess I'm opening the door to a conversation I feel like needs to be had, you know, in a macro sense. So maybe this is the beginning. Maybe we'll clear it up. Maybe we'll change the world starting from here.
Oh, about the tipping?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm very pro pay restaurant workers, especially
Sure.
service workers, a living wage. Because like tipped wage is like minuscule, right?
Mhm.
Like it's like I think they might be like $2 an hour for servers. It's ridiculous.
That is a lot lower than I would have expected. But also I think I've had my experience skewed by this merch seller thing.
Yeah, I mean, but to people who are like for the purposes of a restaurant or whatever classified as tipped workers, you know what? Let me look it up because I know it's ridiculous. I talked to someone. Yeah, sorry. For tipped employees, minimum cash wage in Texas is $2.13 per hour.
That's crazy.
It is. And it is something that goes back to post-Civil War employing people of color. It is particularly unfair as a structure to women and people of color, you might imagine, who gets tipped less. It is it forces particularly women to do they have to do emotional labor more than other servers, and also can't push back on sexualization by customers.
Right.
And it is, our culture is kind of weird about tipping, right? Like I tip 20% standard. Some people tip 15% standard. Some people tip 10% standard. I hope everyone listening knows that. Look up tipped wage in your state.
Absolutely.
Because it is gonna be low in Texas, particularly. I actually try to do 30% if I'm really if it's a cheap, especially if it's cheap or if not many people are there, go ahead and do 30%. Right? That seems ridiculous. But there have been studies done. It's also really gross because there have been studies done that when you give people a menu that's with regular prices in a tipped wage situation, and then a no tipping situation, people really metabolize that higher menu price as something like, oh, that's way too much, right? Even though if they're tipping appropriately,
it would raise the prices similar. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
it's all psychology.
And also, the difference between like people who are not like face-to-face service employees, like busboys and whatnot, or bussers, I guess, and how much tips they get. Some restaurants don't split tips.
Right.
Some restaurants do. So I'm just anti-tipped.
It's just it's just a lot of moving parts, a lot of unclear.
Okay, tell me about the end of your day though. So tell me. You've taken us through setting up.
Now doors open.
All right.
Typically that's when I'm trying to get something to eat. Maybe there's a restaurant connected to the venue. Maybe you got to go outside.
You're eating so healthy. That's what I'm impressed by.
Well, at this point of the night, I actually can get a little salmon salad somewhere. All right. Like it actually works out. If the venue is in a cute enough part of town,
right,
then it works out where I can eat something decent. And then an hour after doors, the first act is on. I'm checking in, making sure merch sales are happening appropriately, making sure everything sounds decent. I've met the promoter and talked through things, given them the guest list and whatever other. Made sure that not everything, but the important things on our hospitality rider are in the green room.
What's on your hospitality rider?
I mean, a bottle of bourbon for me, some seltzer, fruit plate. What else do we get? And usually like some more like healthy juices too. Like quote unquote healthy juices, like the stuff that with the sometimes got probiotics in it. All the my buddy Video Dave, he calls them all like placebo drinks, like all of that good stuff.
Juice, like juiced, like smoothies,
or well, not quite smoothies, but sometimes it's cold pressed juice. Sometimes
all right.
It's usually it's stuff that's marketed healthy.
Quenching.
Yes,
it's definitely quenching. It's usually a lot of replacing some electrolytes.
Yes, and a lot of B vitamins and and such things.
What kind of bourbon?
Woodford Reserve is my go-to because it tends to be available most places.
Making me a little nostalgic.
It doesn't hurt me next day like some of the others do.
Yeah, is that the ingot shaped one?
I don't know what an ingot is, but that sounds right.
It's like thin. It's like a thinner bottle.
Yes,
bottle.
Yes, yes, exactly. It's like flat.
Bourbon was until it stopped mattering what I was drinking. I liked bourbon. I still liked bourbon, but
I'm a big bourbon fan.
After a certain point, it was kind of like I was drinking vanilla extract. So
okay, I only ever saw that on Family Ties.
Vanilla extract bitters.
Yeah, somebody on Family Ties that was an alcoholic was drinking vanilla extract, and I was like, what?
Never got to Listerine, but someone in my sober house.
Wow. Did they admit it?
She got caught.
Oh no,
because it'll make you sick.
Oh, that makes sense.
It was funny. So we've been doing a lot of sidebars. So I did my sober house in Austin in August of 2012 or 2011, and this woman walked like she couldn't drive for reasons you might expect. So she walked like a mile to like a convenience store.
Wow.
And bought Listerine and walked back to the sober house. And part of me is like, I keep that in my head because it's an illustration of the madness.
Right. The rationalization.
And just how you're not even like, it's such a strong desire that you just aren't, you're doing crazy things. You're things that will hurt you on some level.
Yeah.
Right. And then she got kicked out because she drank at the sober house. But anyway, you are not one of me. So you get the delicious bourbon, you get the fruit plate, you get the juices.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much it, I think.
Okay.
Those are the important items.
Right.
Then the second act goes on, and then it's usually around my time.
So what time do you go on?
9:30, 10 o'clock.
When you get off, so personally, the times that I've done performing of any kind, like panels, even TV, whatever, I get a real buzz after. Like I am wired when I get off stage. Is that a thing for you? Like that's usually when I would like really like a drink the most. Still, when I do something like that, I'm like I
am psychologically juiced up but physically exhausted.
Yeah. But like getting the two to match is like
Right. And I think it's impossible. And then there's this thing I have to do mentally, where especially at that point of the show, I've been on stage for an hour.
Mhm.
Um, when I have been on stage that long, my ego is like the size of the room, and not in like
Okay.
a not in a harmful way. Like I'm not an a-hole to anybody or being mean, but like my sense of artistic and self-importance is just like at an all-time high. And I need like 5 minutes to adjust it.
Okay.
Like I have to get back down to a manageable size because now I'm going to go outside and talk to people. Um, which is something I stopped doing for a while, but I've noticed that like there's like a 20-30% sort of merch sales bump that I get just by being
Oh,
out there.
because people are
Um,
like, "Well, there he is."
there he is, and then they're going to buy something that maybe I'll sign if I'm out there signing
Yeah.
stuff, and maybe they wouldn't have otherwise. And it's also, it's just sort of deepening a connection with people and being able to tell them how much I appreciate them being there and all of that. Like it's I think it's just overall uh, it's a win-win all over the place, except that I have to do this psychological gear shift after I get off stage, which takes a few minutes.
Have you ever I guess maybe you don't need to do this, but this is I wonder if this might be a helpful idea. Prime the signing pump. Like, have someone come up and ask you to sign something, even, like, just a friend, so that you get seen signing things.
I never have to because there's already
Oh,
somebody
okay.
there. Yeah, there's
Alright.
already like usually there's somebody sort of
I'm just
watching
like,
whatever door I went through.
how can I help Mike with my devious
We
ideas?
have to get more devious and more creative than that.
Alright. Um, so we just wrap up the day in the life. So what
Mhm.
time do you actually get to bed?
One,
That's
if it,
bad.
but that's if I'm being responsible, which I am not always.
Oh.
Because sometimes we'll go to a bar after the show
Right.
and meet with local friends and drink more unnecessarily. And yeah,
How old are you again?
I am 44.
Okay, you still got some time before the hangover's like,
Yes, I'm already on the line. I'm
okay,
already on the line. I keep the hydration packets on me,
all
you
right,
know, Advil to the gills.
because I'm just saying, like, I was 38 when I got sober, but I was starting to
It's
hit the
yeah.
wall of like how much damage. Of course, also like I was probably drinking a lot more than you.
I don't know, especially on tour. I'd be curious. I'd be curious.
We're never gonna find out. That's the thing.
I mean, yeah. Like if there was some way to quantify
Yeah,
retroactively.
retroactively, because I don't
Yeah.
want to do the experiment anytime soon.
Please do not. Please,
yeah.
I don't want no parts of that.
But I will happily meet up with you to go to a bar.
That'd be amazing. But
Yeah.
then I definitely wouldn't drink as much as I usually would if I was there with you.
Or like, because I'm old, I would probably leave like pretty early, and then you can carry on, man.
There we
Like,
go.
do
Okay.
whatever you want.
I sort of like this plan.
Like, I have to say, I was pretty fun for a long time.
I bet.
Like, until things got messy. Like,
Okay.
I was actually a pretty fun person to drink with. I think I'm still probably pretty fun to hang out with. I don't know. Like,
I mean, it
but
seems like it.
yeah, you're fun to hang out with. Will totally do it.
Yep.
I really appreciate this peek, at things like.
I'm so glad you asked me about this because since it's all I've been doing, it's very clear to me.
Oh, I forgot the most important thing. So, how much money do you make, buddy?
It depends.
Like, is this the most important part? So, like, you talked about merch and actual volume of physical albums are the two most important things, right? Most highest markup for you, like.
Yes.
Okay.
Um,
And where's touring fit into the pie?
I mean, so look, I would say I make if I was looking back at these dates I just did, I made an average of like probably uh, uh $3 to $4 grand a night.
Okay.
That's with my show payment and my merch payments.
Okay.
Probably made that every show.
And does that count the expenses of going out on the road?
No.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
just like your revenue.
That's the gross revenue, yeah.
Okay.
And then so then the
How
cost
many nights and how many nights a month?
I mean, I think we just did 9, 10 shows or something. No, something like that, like 8 or 9 shows. I think we just did. And then hotel cost, tour van cost, gas, eating. You know, I probably spend at least $500 a day. You know,
Yeah.
so you know, it's still one of the more lucrative periods I have as an artist, even though yeah, the expenses can get pretty high.
I think this is fascinating. I want to talk to we're gonna have more musicians on. I'm looking forward to talking to people about whether or not this ramps up significantly. I imagine it does,
Oh God,
obviously.
yes,
Like what's
because
the
yeah,
exponential? Like what's the line?
well,
You know what I
because I
mean?
mean, I've toured with people who I know are making 10 grand and up just from the show. You know,
Yeah.
like just from the show. Like I've seen people make 10 grand in merch. Like I've seen it with my own eyes. Like,
Like there was a thing I read that like the Pod Save Boys, like back in the napkin, was like we're making like 50, 100 grand from selling out like big
mhm.
theaters.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. I
Like,
mean, I've seen the low end of that, and
yeah.
I'm not even privy to the numbers of what folks are making on the high end, even the ones that I tour with sometimes. You know.
Well, I'm grateful that you tour.
Oh, I am too. I don't know that I could survive without it.
Good point.
Mhm.
Uh, and we'll go at you, me, one of the comedians. Like I'll get a little past
We'll set
due
up a little
tour,
something past due
like
tour.
past due tour.
I like a
That'll-
past due tour.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it could be fun. Actually, you know what? It genuinely would be fun. Like
It would be fun.
We would do a show, like this show, and then we'd have like music and a comedian. I don't know. It's an idea.
But I think you know what else is a good idea is for you to plug stuff. I think that's a really good idea.
We got to plug stuff. Okay, so the way that the thing that people can do if they really want to help me. So you need to buy Mike's album, buy Mike's merch. Also go see him all the ways, but you can definitely buy his album. Go buy his album. And if you want to do the most efficient way to support me is to either take for yourself or buy a gift certificate for a writer friend to take my memoir workshop.
Amazing.
That is the way that I've most lucratively supported myself. That's not quite the right word, but I love doing it. It is, if I had to look at a gift of this time of more financial stress in my life, the fact that I started doing this workshop is a gift. Like I wouldn't have started doing it if I'd had a full-time job. So it is called The Third Story. It is geared towards people who have a before and after in their life, is what I usually call it. A pivotal thing in their life that happened that they want to process. And it's 11 weeks long. Meet on Tuesday evenings. You will get one-on-one support from me for your writing project. I read people's stuff and give individual feedback. It's unlike a lot of stuff out there. It's really geared towards supporting a consistent writing practice. There's a lot of emphasis on something I've said sometimes is you can't write regularly unless you're regulated, meaning like you have to support yourself in your practice in order to get the daily practice. Support yourself in your life and your well-being in order to get to the practice of writing. So people can check that out. I also have the newsletter.annamaricox.com. And then I think and the other podcast. That was the other thing. Space the Nation. If you like my wallpaper.
You have to imagine it if you're listening, but it's a lot of Star Wars diagrams.
It's Star Wars ship diagrams.
Mhm.
I was on MSNBC this past weekend, and I was talking about the Epstein case.
Oh, fun.
This backdrop. And I was like, I can move.
Right.
But they're kind of, no, it's all right. We love it. I'm like,
Coming to us
okay.
live, we got a big old nerd.
We got a nerd to talk about the Epstein file. So, and I write regularly for the New Republic. I'm contributing editor there. So, Mike, what do you have going on?
Everything that we just talked about. I feel so plugged. I feel so thoroughly and overwhelmingly and gratefully plugged. Come to a show, and then and like Anna said, buy stuff, and I'll be happy.
All right, and I'll be happy when you're back to us on a more regular basis, and I'm a little more well rested.
Soon come.
All right. And people should, if the other way to support us, how do we miss it, is to support us on Patreon.
Please do.
We would love to continue doing this podcast, and making it a sustainable venture means we need people to support us on Patreon. So go do that. We have a Discord. You get special episodes. You get the real talk that we have, and it gets even realer in our bonus material. And I think that's about it. Okay, we need to say goodbye. And I think that's about it. Say goodbye, Mike.
We will talk to you all soon with more of Too Much of Our Personal Business.
Back next week.
Past Due is hosted by Anna Marie Cox and Open Mike Eagle. It's produced by Andrew Steven. You can find more at pastduepodcast.com. Help support the show by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/pastdue. You'll get bonus content, extended interviews, and more. As always, if you like what we're doing, another way to help is by subscribing, sharing the show, and leaving us a review. Thanks for listening.
Not all darkness is dangerous. Sometimes it's the doorway to becoming whole. On the brand new podcast, The Shadow Sessions, hosted by me, Hibab Al-Faqih, a psychologist and trauma expert, we shed light on the hidden corners of the human experience. Through raw, unfiltered conversations from the edge of healing, The Shadow Sessions invites you to do the deeper work that leads to real change. Follow The Shadow Sessions wherever you're listening now.
Sometimes it feels like red and blue states are just as divergent as post-World War II East and West Germany. So what can the US learn from German political history in order to create a more perfect union? Find out on the new season of The Future of Our Former Democracy, the Signal Award-winning podcast for more equitable democracy and large media. Hosted by me, Colin Cole, and Heather Villanueva. It's time to rethink democracy. So follow The Future of Our Former Democracy wherever you get your podcasts.